Episode 6 of Murder Drones dropped yesterday, and I want to cut straight to the spoilers, so go watch this beautiful episode now if you haven't yet, because spoilers ahead. This episode, of course, ends with V sacrificing herself to save the others, something not a lot of fans expected, though there were some beautiful hints that this was about to happen as the episode went on. My name is Deepcut, and let's talk about everything that happened in this episode and why it led to the decision V made to give her life. Though I do want to note that we didn't actually see her die at the end there, and with robots, anything is possible, especially after we just saw Jay come back with no problem. The episode opened with a lost drone seemingly wandering the lower floors of the camp before being attacked by some strange new robot we've never seen before that looks like a velociraptor. After this quick tease of what was to come, we cut to Uzi, N, and V when they run into Tessa, Jay, and Doll. But instead of breaking into a battle like I had assumed, Tessa was overjoyed to see N and reveal that she had supposedly defected from Sin. Sin herself is said to have vanished, with her last known act being sending the disassembly drones to Copper 9. Even with her suit, Tessa indicates that the air is toxic for her. Doll ends up taking the mysterious beetle she had brought to Tessa back from her and rushes off to use it on the elevator herself. Tessa wasn't happy about Doll getting away, but she really is there to just sabotage the plans that Sin had for her, at least that's what she says. Using a visual from Jay, it explained that Sin wanted the life, including artificial life, cleared away, followed by a special tower being built, and then for Tessa to get into the basement with no further instructions. With that in mind, Tessa claimed that they won't build the tower and will in fact burn down the building from the basement, but the bug is the only way in. The episode then follows the characters as they try to get to the elevator and find Doll. Tessa goes in with Uzi, N, and V, sending Jay to guard their ship. Jay is awkward about this because she's being treated like a servant, something a bit odd for Tessa, who generally loves her drones and sees them as almost more than human. In the next scene, Uzi questions why Doll is involved, and Tessa claims that Doll believes that humans did something to her parents' programming here that made them sick and passed it on to Doll. When Uzi asks for Tessa's thoughts, she says, "I think she's right," in a very cryptic way, though she later reveals to the others that she knows more than she let on. As we get to the lower levels of the camp, the gang finds the corpses of drones that came here before. The drone we saw at the beginning of the episode seemed like a wandering drone of Copper 9's community, complete with hair, but others seem to have the arms and yellow headlights of the disassembly drones. We saw other ships coming to Copper 9 in a previous episode, and while N, V, and J may have focused on eating the drones at the bunker, others may have gone to the camp. According to Tessa, these drones were all destroyed by Sentinels, special drones that were created only to attack other drones, designed to look like raptors. She claims that because she is human, she can control them, though she admits she's not entirely sure. While investigating the halls, Tessa gets kidnapped by something mysterious before N, V, and Uzi get knocked out by a strange robot monster and an insane, murderous worker drone. This worker drone is named Alice from the ID card that she holds on her head. She claims to have been there since Uzi's mother Nori was there. This monstrosity that works for Alice looks like an untrained neural network, which we saw in the first episode were basically little baby drones who were designed to learn before being given a proper body to control. Alice loves sawing up and destroying drones, but keeping their good parts, building other monstrosities like her untrained neural network that we saw. Uzi warns Alice not to destroy V, as it will make her Absolute Solver activate and she'll turn into a big monster. Alice shows, however, that she is used to this and just puts parts of the Absolute Solver in a jar and then into an oven. The perfect heat causes the Absolute Solver to enter a state of stasis, keeping it alive, at least for a while, but unable to move, as literally any attempt to escape the heat would instead cause it to overheat and die. She refers to Uzi as one of the witches, other drones infected with Absolute Solver powers like she is. This indicates something really did happen to a lot of drones at this camp that infected them and passed it on to children. Alice stops Uzi's Absolute Solver powers by attaching a magnet to her head and the heads of the others, messing with their thoughts in general and severely limiting Uzi's power, though she does push through it eventually. The untrained neural network is supposed to be sawing up N and is doing his job, but clearly hates it, especially with how nice N is about it, which leads to him later helping our heroes. N and Tessa manage to escape the untrained network, allowing Tessa to get a computer and show N a dramatic revelation. On the way, Tessa says they will save V, but doesn't mention Uzi, something that upsets N. Tessa ends up pulling up a satellite feed of the Earth, asking N if he wants to see it, and it is revealed that the Earth has been blown up entirely. Tessa explains here that the Absolute Solver mutates in a damaged AI, meaning that some of its natural barriers may corrupt in drones like Sin, who Tessa blames for the entire world being destroyed. Supposedly, this happened before the explosion of Copper-9, and that the humans here were actually trying to study this phenomena in order to better control it. Instead, Tessa says they spread it, and now she believes that the only way to save the universe is to stop it from spreading any further. This includes eliminating threats who have it activated in them like Uzi before it takes them over entirely, a horrible sacrifice she expects N to accept. When Alice realizes that they have escaped, she opens up the cages she has managed to get the Sentinels into to go hunt them down. These Sentinels attack N, but Tessa tries to interfere, knowing they are not designed to attack humans. These Sentinels were originally intended, it seems, not to just stop drones from getting into the basement, but also to stop any Absolute Solver drones being experimented on from getting out. The Sentinels still attack Tessa after scanning her, but when they bite into her, blood comes out. This blood causes the Sentinel to shut down, realizing it has attacked a human instead of a drone. Now, back with Alice, Uzi manages to activate her Absolute Solver to such a degree that she appears to sound like Sin, and is able to access powers that the magnet on her head cannot suppress. This blew a hole in the wall and then created some sort of black hole explosion that destroyed the Sentinels and saved V. Now, it is really important here that V is saved herself by the untrained neural network, the one we saw clearly didn't enjoy the things that Alice was making him do. This drone freed V with a laser beam just as some Sentinel Raptors began to destroy him, which seemed to have a clear effect on V, who is able to escape with Uzi to get to Tessa and N. Now, a rather important moment happens off camera here that really informs V's decision at the end of the episode. When V talks to N and Tessa, she realizes that Tessa has told something to N that she doesn't know. A lot of some things, really, what with the Earth being blown up, but the real kicker was the fate of Uzi. Until now, V wouldn't have minded just killing Uzi and being done with it, but it becomes really difficult when suddenly Uzi has a fate that is sealed for such a dramatic reason. She is no longer one of the countless billions of drones killed off for no real reason, but rather her death has the ultimate meaning because it stops her from becoming the vehicle that Absolute Solver uses to destroy the world. V demands to know what happened, but it cuts away before we hear the version of the story that N gives her. It becomes clear when they make it to the elevator, however, that V is aware that Tessa wants Uzi to die, because she and N both stop Uzi from using her Absolute Solver. This means at the very least she knows using it will cause Uzi to slowly become more like Sin, something we already saw earlier in the episode. Now, in this hall, they find Doll, who appears to have been boot-looped by the Sentinels, a process that knocks out a drone without killing it, though they seem fully capable and happy to outright destroy any drone that they have to. They all imagine that this is a trap, but Tessa goes right up and gets the bug. Doll reveals this is in fact a trap and then uses the bug to get in the elevator, but opens a bunch of doors so that the Sentinels get released. This allows her to go down into the basement without worrying about the others following her. Now, they manage to escape, but V ends up cornered, and she makes the choice to lean into her fate and let herself die so the others can get away. This came after a very visually dramatic moment of her putting back on the glasses she had while working on Earth as a regular drone in Tessa's mansion. These visually tell us that she's becoming more like that version of her, a version that Sin had tried to erase, but that V was able to experience for herself again in episode 5 with the dramatic flashbacks. Now, V doesn't personally like Uzi, but after having her own fate decided for her so many times, V can empathize with someone who just wants to be free and have her romance, but who is tragically destined to either destroy the universe or die in order to prevent that. In the end, V realized that things weren't going to go well for her in the long run, and she's already been trying to outrun overheating for quite some time. Additionally, while she gives N a very hard time, we know that she actually cares about him quite deeply because of the natural way that he is, and the moments that they had back in the mansion before she was rebooted into this evil version of herself. Her sacrifice feels like someone trying to give someone else just another few more moments of peace before they have to meet their inevitable end, and that makes it all the more tragic, as it's not just Uzi meeting her end, but N who has to deal with the loss of Uzi when she's gone. It feels like learning Uzi's fate made her decide that she didn't want to live in this world anymore, where naive, childlike people like Uzi or the infant drone have to suffer and die while she lives on. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And real quick, special congratulations to Victory Angel in our Discord server for winning a signed Angel Dust print. This week, we're doing a giveaway where you can win one signed print from the Murder Drone Streamly shop. They've got prints of V, Sin, and the Apsu Solver, all signed by their voice act. And after yesterday's episode, fans of V should probably try to get their hands on one of these prints while they still can. Just join our Discord server with the link down below and sign up with the crew bot so you can earn points for talking in the server and commenting on videos that you can use to win the print. See you guys there.